WW3 of a Monday afternoon. The item which we're going to deal with now is we're going to entitle the Dad's Army Bill. And every those you are familiar in the United Kingdom of the television series of Dad's Army, you know what I'm getting at. The fact is, here in Italy, the Italian Parliament has passed, it's discussing a bill of civil defence. Okay, fair enough. You have people, what they call servizio civile, and this is proposed for the over 65s. The aim is to insert and valorise pensioners. It's probably just a basic trick law to use so-called volunteers as a cheap source of labour regarding whether it's in the social welfare sector, social services, or so-called associations of volunteers, charities basically, which they already have their own volunteers. One through Servizio Civile for, I think it's from 18 to 26 or 18 to 30 age, or you have regular volunteers who are registered as in this charity as volunteers, or you have people who had for punishment, instead of going in prison, they've been granted to do a certain number of social services or community service, basically, yes, instead of going in the knicker. Now, what I find a bit strange is why all the fucking hell you want over 65s become volunteers. Those who are active still, there are very few, they're already volunteers of various associations or charities. Like I said, is it a cheap source of labour? Old people work for free, they have to do 25 hours every week, otherwise you won't receive your pension. You can't blackmail pensioners. Once they're in retirement and they receive their pension, the working life is over. If they want to be volunteers, okay, of a charity, whatever, yes, but you're forcing them to work for their pension. Or is it like this? Or it could be something more sinister. You can use these people in a time of emergencies to cover various roles like civil defenders. That's why I have mentioned Dad's Army, a BBC television series of many years ago, which are a bunch of elderly folks that joined the civil service protection, or as civil defenders otherwise, or it's just some type of seeing this legislation. If war and an emergency come and use these people while the able-bodied adults are busy probably in ammunition or defence factories or on the battlefields, or busy in military hospitals to aid the injured. You know, it's a very fishy thingy bob, this law is. And mind you, why pest elderly people to do this type of was it community service? This is more like community service. It's the right word. Why you got thousands of lazy immigrants, 90% of them here in Italy, they live off welfare, and they do nothing from morning to night, and usually you find them in betting shops or in establishments where they sell alcohol, or you see them in the square getting drunk, and they start beating the crap out of each other. This is the reality here in Italy, and it's probably the reality even in other Western countries. If you see this video, drop me a comment regarding this issue of so-called asylum seekers or refugees. Sincerely, they are a bunch of phony baloney bunch. And obviously, I mentioned some video back, they don't have good intentions towards the locals anyway. Why don't you use them? Immigrants who don't work, who live off the welfare, put them to community service instead of breaking the bollocks of people who went in retirement. Let them enjoy their fucking pension after God knows 40 years of hard work to obtain probably that little which they can barely survive on. And mind you, our so-called society is getting more older and therefore more sicker. You're going to have a whole load of pensioners which with a whole series of health issues, doing community service, working in these state institutes for kids, disabled people and so on. Or you're going to stick them to run and serve these illegals in these so-called hostels, or asylum hotels, what they call them in English, or something else. In time of war, you may use them as some type of civil defence group or whatever. You know, we're in times of war. We've got a World War III brewing on our doorstep, you know, and they have to put legislation how to organise society into a war mode society.